Look at this piece. You've heard of paella, right? Well, step aside for a second, paella, because today I'm gonna show you guys the Filipino version called Bringhe. At first look, Bringhe and paella look kind of similar, but they actually use very different ingredients and flavorings. I have a friend, her name is Evie. Hi Evie! She's from Barcelona. One day, she made the most incredible paella I have ever tasted. The primary ingredients that she used, I believe it was arborio rice, which is a type of short grain rice. And then she used toasted saffron threads, and then I think it was like a chicken broth or some kind of broth to flavor her paella. She finished it off by topping it with the freshest seafood she could find. Filipino Bringhe, on the other hand, uses glutinous rice, coconut milk, and turmeric as the primary ingredients. And when I saw it, the Filipina in me got super excited. You put coconut milk and glutinous rice together, whether it's sweet or savory, just give it to me. Anyway, hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on the 2 videos that I release per week. We wouldn't want you to get FOMO. And also hit that like button below if you want me to make more Filipino food or just really good food in general. Okay, let's get started. So I used this rice and I got this from Seafood City, but you can also get it at other Asian markets, or maybe you'll get lucky and get it at your local grocery store. This is a short grain sweet rice, and it's also glutinous rice. It's the same thing, but I also have a long grain rice, but typically I see Bringhe or even paellas being cooked with short grain rice. You don't have to wash your rice, but if you do, make sure that you completely drain the water out of it. So I used this strainer while I was washing my rice. Okay, now here's one of the ingredients that makes it Bringhe. We're gonna add 3 cups of coconut milk. The fattier the coconut milk, the creamier your Bringhe will be. So add some salt. I added half a teaspoon, and then a bunch of freshly cracked black pepper. And then the other thing that makes this Bringhe distinct from paella is the turmeric. So I'm gonna add 1 tablespoon of turmeric straight into the rice cooker. Okay, and then just to water it down a little bit, I'm gonna add 1/4 cup of water. All right, and then just mix this well, and then we're gonna stick it in the rice cooker to cook. Oh, and be careful with the turmeric. Anything it touches will turn it orange, so try not to get your hands on it, or else your hands will be orange. Okay, now that I'm making this, it kind of reminds me of moon milk. Moon milk originated from India, and you mix in some milk. In this case, I'm using coconut milk, and then you put in turmeric, a few other spices, and then you drink it. This mixture kind of reminds me of moon milk. All right, and then we're just gonna stick this in the rice cooker and then wait for it to cook. While that's cooking, we're going to saute all the other things that we're gonna be putting into this Bringhe. Okay, so ideally there's these paella pans. They're bigger, wide, and shallow. I don't know how many of you guys out there have it, and I certainly don't have it at home. So to make this Bringhe, try to find a pan that's got the biggest flat surface area that you can use. So for example, at home I've got this pan. I don't want something that's too much of like a bowl. This is what I'm gonna use, and we're just gonna have to deal with it. Ooh, okay, so this is where we're gonna saute all of the meats and seafood that we're gonna be putting on top of our rice. Okay, now I wanna add a good amount of oil in here since we're going to be sauteing, and then we're also gonna be frying up the meats. All right, I got about 3 cloves of minced garlic, and then about half of a medium onion that's been chopped. And then we're just gonna saute this until the onions are translucent. It smells so good. And we're just getting started. So next, I'm gonna saute the pork. So I got pork butt. You want it to be chopped up into smaller pieces so that you can have little bites throughout your Bringhe. You'd want at least 1 cup of pork. I'm gonna add like a pound of pork. I just want as much goodies in this Bringhe as possible. It's totally up to you. I want a lot of meat, so I'm gonna be putting like 1 pound of pork, 1 pound of squid, and 1 pound of shrimp. But I'm gonna treat myself. Okay, so that's translucent enough. Now I'm gonna add the pork. And then I'm just gonna turn up the heat a little bit so the pork can brown. Okay, so I just wanted to give you guys an update. Somehow my rice cooker kept detecting that the rice was already cooked, but it wasn't. So I transferred it into my Instant Pot and I'm cooking it in the rice function. Okay, the pork is ready, so I'm gonna take it out, put it in a separate container, and then I'm gonna start sauteing the seafood. Ooh, so there's some leftover pork fat in here, including the oil that we initially put in. So this should be enough for us to start sauteing the squid and the shrimp. So this is 1 pound of squid that's been cut into rings. I also have 1 pound of shrimp and I'm keeping the skin on. Before you throw the squid in here, make sure you clean it out. So if you don't know how to clean a squid out, usually there's like a mouth area that you have to pull out. And then there's like its little spine. It kind of looks like plastic. You pull that out as well and then just chop it into rings. As for the shrimp, I'm keeping it with the skin on. We can just put it on top of the bringhe and then whoever's eating it can just peel it. Okay, so these guys are done cooking. Now we're just gonna put it in the same container as the pork and then I'm gonna go check on the rice. Ooh, so do you see all that leftover liquid? We're gonna keep that and we're gonna continue simmering the rice in it once it's done. If you guys at home are not adding seafood to your bringhe, go ahead and add 1 tablespoon of fish sauce. It'll really amplify the flavor of your bringhe. All right, now I'm just gonna check on the rice. To be honest, it really doesn't taste like much. It tastes like turmeric, and then you kind of get a hint of the coconut milk, but the glutinous rice is really good. I really like the texture. We're gonna have to mix this in with the seafood and we're gonna add a few more seasonings to make it taste really good. So I use the Instant Pot. If you want, you can also just simmer this on low heat in a normal pan. That works as well. I think I'm gonna switch over to a larger pan so that I can have everything mixed in together. Now what we wanna do is we wanna dump in all of the rice in here. Ooh, because I cooked it in the Instant Pot, there's some crunchy bits at the bottom. I tried it, it's so good. But you want all of this, so put it in here. Look at this piece. Hot. Wow, to be honest, the coconut milk actually lends a lot of flavor to this rice. It's so good. And also I think the quality of the rice itself too. Although it's called sweet rice, it's not like dessert sweet, but it's just a little bit sweeter compared to normal rice. It's good. I don't know why I didn't even think about using this pan earlier. There's so much more space than the other one that I used. Anyway, now that we got the rice in here, dump in the shrimp and the pork and the squid. Okay, and now do your best to integrate the meats with the rice. So there's certain areas in the Philippines where it's not necessarily the ingredients that make it authentic, but kind of the strategies and the ways that they cook it. There may be certain ways that you cook this bringhe to make it more authentic, but I'm assuming you guys out there are in an ordinary kitchen, just like me, and really what we're trying to do here is we're just trying to cook it to get that flavor, regardless if it's authentic or not. But it's still gonna taste really good. Okay, so this looks like it could be done, but I actually wanna add a little bit more coconut milk to this. So I'm gonna add 1 more cup of coconut milk and I'm gonna taste it to see what else it needs. All right, and so just mix this up and then we're gonna let it simmer so that the rice can absorb more of this coconut milk. I'm smelling all the coconut milk and the seafood. It like brings me back to the Philippines when I was a kid, when my parents would make seafood dishes with coconut milk. So good. Notably, the sea snails in coconut milk. Oh, it's so good. Break up any big rice lumps that have formed while you were transferring it. We're gonna take a taste and see if we need to add more seasonings to this. Yes, definitely need more salt. I really like the flavor of the seafood though. It is coming through. So I'm gonna take a big pinch of salt and then I'm just gonna scatter it throughout the rice. And I'm debating whether or not I need to add fish sauce. Yeah, let's do it. For the fish sauce, I'm just gonna add 1 tablespoon. Yes. So this fish sauce I got from Seafood City, but I'll also put a link in the description below if you need to get your own. I highly recommend you keep one of these in your pantry. It really elevates the umami flavor of your dishes. All right, and then just mix this all up again so that the salt and the fish sauce can get integrated into the whole dish. It's funny because while I'm stirring this, I'm like, oh, the rice looks kind of like sticky and mushy, and it's kind of making me uncomfortable because I'm not used to it. Because usually when I make fried rice or something, it's a little bit more dry. But Bringhe is supposed to look like this. I looked at like some photos online as well. And when you bite into it, it's actually got a pretty nice texture. Probably because it's not mushy, normal white rice, it's glutinous rice that we're using. All right, now I'm gonna take another taste to see if we still need to add more salt or seasonings. Yep, we need a little bit more salt. It's gonna take a little bit of arm strength to mix all of this stuff together because the rice is super heavy, and then I decided to like fill this with a bunch of seafood and pork. Hopefully this is it. You can try it with a squid. I like it. I don't like my dishes too salty either. It's up to you guys if you want to add more salt. I don't like my dishes too salty. So it's time to turn this off and then we can serve it. So typically Bringhe is topped with fresh bell peppers and some hard-boiled eggs. So I'm gonna go ahead and make some hard-boiled eggs now. I don't have bell peppers though. I'm using this Dash electric egg cooker, and not gonna lie guys, I love this thing. I don't have like these cracked eggs like when you cook it in a pot of water. But also the other thing I like about this is that you can control if you want a soft-boiled, medium-boiled, or a hard-boiled egg. So anyway, I'll put a link in the description below if you want your own. Me, my sister, and my dad, we all have one. It's like chewing mochi. Like I said, it looks like it's mushy, but it's not. It's actually got a really nice chewy texture. And it really doesn't taste like paella. It's distinct, and that's what I love about it. They're very different. Like Bringhe is definitely Bringhe when you taste it, and paella is definitely paella. And that's it. Let me know in the comments below if you guys decide to make this at home and how it turns out. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss the 2 videos a week that I'm churning out on this channel. Hit that like button below this video, and I'll see you guys in next week's video. Bye!